Hey everyone, Zach Peterson here with Sutton Premier Realty, and today I'm going to be talking about the importance of pricing when trying to sell your home for the most money possible. We will be going over how to determine the market value of your home, the importance of pricing correctly the first time, and the difference between overpricing and underpricing. There are many factors involved in selling a home for top dollar, and pricing is one of the most influential. A real estate agent's job is to research the market and determine the fair market value of your home and recommend the price you should list it for sale. Some sellers will ask for too much and some will not ask for enough. Either way, you're going to end up leaving money on the table if you do not price your property correctly from the start. A real estate agent has the resources necessary to determine the market value of your property. In order to come up with a competitive and accurate valuation, it is important to research the sales of comparable properties sold within the last 6 months. While it is still possible to use active listings to value a property, it is much more difficult. This is because the listing price is not usually the same price the property will actually sell for. The comparable properties being used should be as similar to the property being sold as possible. The criteria for a comparable property goes as follows. Sold within the last 6 months, built close to the same year as the subject property, within 20% of the above ground square footage as the subject property, with a similar basement, finished or unfinished, in a similar condition, close to the same number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and in the same neighborhood or within a reasonable distance. After researching active and sold comps in the area, adjustments must be made for any variables in the comparable properties. Adjustments can be difficult and depend on many factors, and there may not even be enough properties in the area to determine exactly what the adjustments should be. Some features of a property may be desirable in one area of town, while other features may not. Also, certain types of properties have different adjustments than others. It can take years of experience and expertise to be able to make accurate adjustments. If you feel that your realtor is not giving your property an accurate valuation, you may want to consider hiring a licensed property appraiser. Once the fair market value of your property has been determined, you will want to set a realistic asking price for your property. Depending on whether you are more concerned with selling quickly or getting the most money possible, you'll generally set the asking price about 3 to 5% above the market value. This is because it is always expected that some negotiation will be required in order to reach an agreement with a buyer. So you must be realistic about your asking price and leave some room for negotiations. The first 2 to 4 weeks on the market is the most critical time for your listing. If your home is priced incorrectly during this time, it can result in decreased showings and a depreciation of interest in your property. The longer a property sits on the market, the less likely it is to sell for top dollar. You should list for a price that will be competitive and consistent with comparable properties in your area. A property that is overpriced can end up sitting on the market for several weeks or even months longer than it would have if it was priced correctly from the start. The longer a property sits on the market, the less appealing it is to potential buyers. Even after lowering the asking price to the correct value, which can weaken your negotiating position, it may still be difficult to sell the property because it has sat on the market for so long. Potential buyers will start to wonder if there is something wrong with your property. In the end, you may end up selling your property for less than you could have if you priced it correctly from the start. Pricing your property lower than market value could end up costing you just as much money as overpricing. There are 2 possible outcomes to listing a property below market value. The best case scenario is that the low price attracts a lot of buyers and creates a multiple offer situation. In a multiple offer scenario, you may get a couple offers that are over the asking price, but there is still a chance that your property will sell for below the true market value. Oftentimes, buyers are basing their offer solely on the asking price and not on the actual value. The flip side of pricing your property below market value is that you attract the wrong segment of buyers. These buyers may only be looking at your property because it is in the upper limit of their budget and they think they can talk you down in price. This is the worst case scenario and will end up costing you the most money if you really need to sell your property at this time. The bottom line, it is important to make sure that your property is priced correctly from the start. That means coming up with an accurate valuation by looking at sold comparable properties and active listings in your area. If your asking price is too far off from the actual market value of your property, you will end up losing money. If it is listed for too much, it'll end up sitting on the market and depreciating in value. If it is not listed for enough, you may sell quickly, but only because it sold for below market value. Remember, pricing is one of the most influential factors in determining whether or not your property sells for top dollar. So you better make sure you get it right the first time. Alright, well that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, just drop it down in the comment section below or feel free to call, text, or email me. Thanks again, and don't forget to hit the like button.